The border between Lebanon and Israel is a place of constant tension, watched over by United Nations peacekeepers from around the world. These soldiers, part of the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, UNIFIL, patrol the Blue Line, a UN-drawn line marking Israeli withdrawal in 2000. Their daily mission: media group, UN peacekeepers monitoring border with binoculars, UN soldiers writing reports in the field stock, distribute equally monitor the border, report violations, and support the Lebanese army in keeping the area secure. UNIFIL's presence is a symbol of international commitment to stability, but their job is far from easy. They help prevent conflict by facilitating communication between both sides and ensuring the area south of the Litani River remains a zone of peace. The peacekeepers also work with local communities, providing medical care, building schools, and repairing roads. By supporting the Lebanese army and helping civilians, UNIFIL builds trust and shows its mission is about more than just soldiers and borders. Their humanitarian work is vital for creating lasting peace in a region long defined by instability. Every day these peacekeepers walk and drive along the Blue Line, their white UN vehicles a visible reminder of the world's watchful eye. Their partnership with the Lebanese army is crucial for keeping unauthorized weapons and armed groups out of the area. UNIFIL's efforts aim to build confidence and create a safer environment for people who have endured decades of conflict. In a region where war is never far away, their presence is a fragile but essential barrier against chaos. On November 16, 2025, a routine UNIFIL patrol near the Blue Line in El Hammames turned into a life-threatening crisis. Without warning, gunfire erupted, shots from an Israeli Merkava tank, which had crossed into Lebanese territory. Bullets struck the ground just 5 meters from the peacekeepers, forcing them to scramble for cover. The soldiers took shelter, their lives hanging in the balance as the standoff dragged on for 30 tense minutes. Thankfully, none were injured, but the danger was real and immediate. The Israeli tank remained inside Lebanon, escalating the risk and violating the rules meant to keep the peace. UNIFIL commanders quickly contacted the Israeli military through emergency channels. Only after urgent talks did the tank withdraw, allowing the peacekeepers to resume their duties. The incident left deep shock and concern among the UN soldiers. It was a stark reminder of how quickly the border can become a flashpoint. The shooting was a serious breach of the peace agreement and a direct threat to international personnel. For the peacekeepers, it underscored the fragility of their mission. The event highlighted just how dangerous and unpredictable the situation remains. Even a routine patrol can turn deadly in this volatile environment. The border's calm is always at risk of shattering in an instant. UNIFIL responded swiftly, condemning the shooting as a grave violation and a direct attack on their personnel. Their statement called the incident unacceptable and a breach of Security Council Resolution 1701, which underpins the fragile peace. UNIFIL stressed that firing on peacekeepers undermines regional stability and puts the ceasefire at risk. Through their liaison channels, they demanded the Israeli army halt all aggressive actions near UN positions. UN commanders protested in real time, insisting on the tank's withdrawal and the safety of their personnel. UNIFIL also called for a full investigation to determine why the tank fired and why it was inside Lebanon. The peacekeepers' safety, they emphasized, is essential for their mission. The incident raised urgent questions about respect for the UN's presence and the rules of engagement along the Blue Line. For UNIFIL, the shooting was not just a mistake, it was a dangerous escalation. Their message: such attacks cannot be tolerated if peace is to hold. The Israeli Defense Forces offered a very different account, calling the shooting a tragic mistake. They claimed their soldiers mistook the UNIFIL patrol for suspects due to poor visibility and fired warning shots. The bullets, however, landed dangerously close to the peacekeepers, far from a typical warning. The IDF insisted there was no intent to harm UN personnel and that the error was quickly recognized. They expressed regret, framing the event as an operational error, not a deliberate act. Yet, Israel did not fully explain why its tank was inside Lebanese territory, a key violation. Their statement focused on the accidental nature of the shooting, leaving many questions unanswered. The explanation did little to ease the anger of UNIFIL and the Lebanese government. For many, the incident was seen as a provocation, regardless of intent. The gap between the two sides' accounts only deepened mistrust. Lebanon's government reacted with outrage, calling the shooting a dangerous escalation and a violation of its sovereignty. the Lebanese army condemned Israel's actions as part of a pattern of aggression. President Joseph Aoun ordered an urgent complaint to the UN Security Council, citing both the shooting and Israel's construction of a border wall. Lebanon's complaint underscored its view that these are not isolated incidents, but ongoing violations threatening regional stability. The government emphasized that Israeli tanks on Lebanese soil and new border barriers are direct challenges to its authority. With no diplomatic relations and a history of conflict, every border incident is seen through a lens of deep mistrust. Many in Lebanon view the shooting not as an accident, but as deliberate intimidation. The diplomatic response aimed to draw global attention to Lebanon's grievances. For UNIFIL, the rising tensions make their mission even more precarious. The shooting occurred amid a heated dispute over a new Israeli border wall. Israel claims the wall is for security, but Lebanon sees it as a violation of its territory. The heart of the dispute, the wall's location near the Blue Line, which is not an official border. UNIFIL reports the wall blocks Lebanese access to thousands of square meters of land, complicating their mission. Lebanon insists the wall is being built on its land. Israel denies this, calling it a defensive measure. UNIFIL has tried to mediate, but both sides remain entrenched. The disagreement adds another layer of mistrust and makes the border even more volatile. In this tense environment, even small incidents can quickly escalate. This incident is part of a larger pattern of escalating conflict since October 2023. Israel has carried out near-daily strikes in southern Lebanon, targeting Hezbollah, while violence and casualties have soared. Lebanese authorities report thousands killed and many more injured, with civilians living in constant fear. The legal framework for peace, UN Resolution 1701, calls for a weapons-free zone south of the Litani River, enforced by the Lebanese army and UNIFIL. Both sides accuse each other of violating the resolution. Israel says Hezbollah is rearming, while Lebanon accuses Israel of airspace violations and attacks. These mutual accusations have eroded trust and weakened the ceasefire. The border remains a powder keg, where any incident can spiral out of control. The peacekeepers' job is made harder by the constant threat of renewed conflict. The cycle of mistrust and violence keeps the region on edge. The shooting of UNIFIL soldiers is just the latest symptom of a much deeper crisis. A ceasefire announced in November 2024 was meant to restore calm, but its implementation has faltered. Israel has not fully withdrawn from southern Lebanon, maintaining outposts inside Lebanese territory in violation of the agreement. Lebanon sees this as a breach of sovereignty and a sign that Israel is not serious about peace. The continued occupation has led to a breakdown in trust and stalled progress on the peace plan. Israel, meanwhile, accuses Hezbollah of violating the ceasefire by rearming and returning fighters to the border. Both sides use these claims to justify their actions, creating a stalemate. The ceasefire, instead of easing tensions, has become another source of dispute. The shooting of UN peacekeepers is a direct result of this unstable environment. Promises are broken, and the risk of renewed conflict remains high. The border's fragile calm is under constant threat. The shooting of UN peacekeepers is a warning sign of the deep problems threatening Middle East peace. When neutral peacekeepers become targets, it signals a breakdown of order and respect for international law. The border's volatility means any mistake can spark a wider conflict, with devastating consequences for both sides. Regional stability depends on maintaining peace along the Blue Line. Failure could draw in other countries and escalate into a broader war. The international community must demand accountability and help find a lasting solution. The stakes are too high to ignore. Unresolved disputes and broken agreements are pushing the region closer to disaster. For peace to have a chance, all sides must show restraint and respect the UN's role. The world cannot afford to let this fragile situation deteriorate any further.